Hey guys, what's up? Big Stack McGee here with another silver video for you. Something a little bit different today, no unboxings or anything like that. I just want to talk briefly about the origins of my desire to stack silver and precious metals. To do that, I think I just need to start with a little bit about me. I'm in my mid-30s, married with 3 beautiful kids. My wife is a stay-at-home mom currently. And when we got out of college, both of my wife and I had significant student loan debt. And when 6 months after school, when those loans started coming due, and we saw how much of our money, our hard-earned money that we were making, was going towards just minimum payments, and the fact that we'd have to pay those off for 20 years, it scared us a lot. And so I had heard about Dave Ramsey, and I had followed his methods basically to put a maximum amount of money every month towards my loans until I could get out from underneath them. And I'm happy to say that as of about 6 years ago, we were able to do that. We had no debt as of 6 years. We decided to buy a house, and a small house, and we live in small town USA, rural, and we bought pretty much the cheapest little house that we could find. This is before we had any kids. And we did everything we could to save as much money as we could. I realized the necessity to have money for retirement. When my wife got pregnant, had our first kid, she became a stay-at-home mom, and so we were just living on my income alone. I work in a job that is not the kind of job where it's going to ascend the ranks to be earning 6 figures someday, nothing like that. We're very firmly entrenched in the lower middle class, and will be probably until our kids are out of school or out of the house. So regardless, though, we've learned to live under our means, and so that everything we are able to save and scrimp together is because we decided to not go the best route. Not we have used furniture. We bought a lot of our clothes secondhand. We we eat very healthy, but we don't go out to eat a lot. Decisions like that have kind of driven my desire to save. Well, like many of you, I saw in 2008, I saw our money that we had been squirreling away in our Roth IRA just completely get hammered, and my wife was terrified. I was nervous and annoyed. I knew the market would come back and whatnot. I wasn't terribly worried, but my wife was petrified. And I did everything I could to try to explain to her that she's not a investor. She doesn't understand how things work, and it's going to be just fine. Well, in 2009 and 2010, and the market saw growth, but it took a long time to even just recoup the money or the value in the stocks that we had in the mutual funds and whatnot. Well, I had a friend of mine that I met through work that we had an opportunity to talk about precious metals. He just kind of brought it up, right? I think he had like a silver dollar or something like that in his pocket. I was like very interested. I wanted to see it, and he saw my interest and kind of, he's a silver stacker himself, and he used that opportunity to kind of educate me a little bit on the process. And I thought he was a fool. I was just like, silver? Precious metals? Are you kidding me? And I think the reason I was so skeptical was I knew when I was talking to him, even as much as I think it was last year, that gold was at an all-time high. I knew that all the gold selling shops, where you bring in your scrap and they give you money. Like, why would you buy an investment that's at its top? That makes no sense. You buy low, sell high. That's all I knew. Well, he explained to me that it's not so much an investment, that he doesn't look at it that way, as much as it is wealth preservation. And that's key to my whole story, is when we experienced in 2008 with the stock market, as much as I tried to explain to my wife that everything was going to be just fine, I realized that I don't have extra money to throw in and buy low at that time. Everything I had was basically invested into my IRA accounts. And that's why I was limited to, as long as the market came back, I'd at least get some of my money back. But he explained to me that silver is inherently valuable. There's only so much of it. There's only so much that's been mined, etc. It's been used in money and in and whatnot for thousands of years, and its value can never be zero. And he basically turned me on to doing a lot of research. And so even though I kind of argued with him at first, I went did my own research, and it's like immediately had my eyes opened. I saw some great videos on YouTube, read a lot of articles. I think one of my first ones was by Mike Maloney, and another one by Richard Kiyosaki, Rich Dad. And it's like all of a sudden a little fire was built in me. And I read about precious metals for probably about 6 weeks before I did anything about it. But when I did, I took almost a quarter of our emergency fund. I had about $10,000 at the time, and I just did a huge AppMix order. And I ordered two Silver Eagles and some of those 10-ounce bars that you saw in previous video that I did, and I felt good that I did that, but I didn't. It wasn't enough. And over the course of the next 4 months, I kept making purchases, small ones, and talking more about it with my wife, and I watched some of the videos with my wife, and she was on board immediately because she saw the potential for why we can feel safe having precious metals in our possession, being a physical silver stacker. I basically have converted everything that I had essentially in my emergency fund into silver, knowing that if I needed to, I can sell it back to a local coin shop, get some money out, and whatever. So we treat it like a savings account or an emergency fund that we are in possession of, as opposed to hoarding cash, because we used to do that too. And when we saw through our research how much the dollar had eroded, I mean, everyone knows that there's inflation going on, but if you read the papers and stuff, they don't say that how much it really is. I saw an excellent video by Silverfish here on YouTube where he was talking about this is what how much gas you could buy 20 years ago and whatnot. This is how much you could buy today, and on with all the different commodities and food and things like that. Bacon, I think he did. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way we're experiencing 2 to 3% inflation when that's what's going on. And of course, our pocketbook reflected it too. Everyone knows that everything costs more, but most people don't pay attention. And, my wife and I are very cognizant of the fact that we live in a society that everyone's got to have the best thing right now. And they're not afraid to spend money they don't have to get it. And it scares the crap out of me, guys. I know that our country as a government, our government is unsustainable the way that it is. I feel like that's federal debt. I think that consumer debt is unsustainable. We all saw what happened with all the foreclosures and all that kind of business, and just how people feel like they deserve more, but most are not willing to do anything about it to fix their situation. Everyone wants handouts. All right, so enough of my backstory. Why do I stack precious metals? I do it for my family and for security. My wife and I work too hard to see the money that we earn, the hard work that we do to earn that money, evaporate with unbelievable inflation and lack of buying power with the dollar. I want to make sure that my kids have an inheritance. I want to make sure that my kids understand the nature of how hard work pays off and what the American dream is. That's why I stack precious metals. And I see stacking silver and hopefully gold soon as a way of visibly seeing your hard work. I don't know. It's hard not to get a little bit worked up when I talk about this stuff because it's a meaningful subject to me. I don't plan on living like a king later. I have no problem living under my means. I just want to make sure that I get the maximum results out of my hard work. Just like I wouldn't go and spend maximum retail money on a purchase. I'm going to do some research and try to get a deal. I want to be efficient with my money, even when my country and those around me can't. That's why I do it. All right, guys, I'm long-winded enough. The story's over. I'll tell you what, please give me a comment if you don't mind. Let me know if you have similar ideas or stories. And I just sure appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. You guys have a great day. Thanks.